Hi, nobodies. So it's a new day. My aunt brought me this lovely old book from 1962. It was printed. Um, if you've ever watched Mad Men, it's kind of like it was pulled from this as far as to how secretaries were expected to be. You're entering the workforce and you're a woman. My aunt collects books, but this is actually a textbook from her school. Guide to Beauty, Charm, and Poise. A secretary's guide, sorry. A secretary's guide to beauty, charm, and poise. This book tells you how to smoke a cigarette. Like, seriously, like how you're supposed to flick your ashes, which you don't flick your ashes, you roll your ashes. And you do not put out your cigarette. Like, you do not, like, no, you roll it till it stops smoking. It talks about how to stand, tips for prettier hands, jewelry, like when you're supposed to wear one kind of jewelry and not wear another. Uh, it's like, this thing is just so crazy. And even talks about like how to keep yourself fit. Like, you need to be physically fit, how to stand, how to hold your hands. Like your hand placement is important, and you can't just sit there like your hands down. And they actually there's like a picture in here of, let me see if I can find it. I should have marked the book. This goes to show how ill prepared I am for these sometimes, because I just like get the idea in my head, hey, I'm gonna discuss this. Conversational charm. I'm totally gonna read this book too. Voice improvement. The art of graciousness. A well-bred person would rather make unnecessary introductions than offend someone by not introducing him. Personality is preferred. Fragrance. Like, it tells you how to pick out your type of fragrance. How to wear specific things. What kind of eyeglasses. Wear sufficient eye makeup, enough to make up for the glasses. Okay, so basically they're saying like glasses are going to make you unattractive, so you need to wear eye makeup so that it won't be so bad that you're wearing glasses. Be sure it is color keyed to your wardrobe. Heaven forbid. Let an expert assist you. Let me see here. Where is, I'm trying to find it. The dead fish stance. It tells you like to avoid certain colors, certain patterns in your wardrobe, and I mean, it's like, wow, really? Let me see here. Handling personal belongings. They even have a section in here for how to sit. Not just how you sit. Like, you don't. I remember being 13 and my dad saying, sit like a lady. You're sitting like a dude. Because, I mean, I was sitting there, just splayed out, I had clothes on. I was covered. I was sufficiently covered. But he was like, sit like a lady. But they even show like the just the like do's and don'ts of sitting, and like fanny reaching is what is actually just like, and how your clothes are supposed to be arranged and how you're supposed to walk. Okay, I found it. The dead fish. um, they actually, I mean, and this is like the way of, they expected this of women, to have everything completely like, you know, make sure you stand pretty, make sure, you know, don't make this too much or that too much, and it's like, wow, really? And it's kind of funny to look at how far women have come, to where it doesn't matter, and you're thinking, okay, that woman was there to do a job. She was there to type letters. You don't need makeup and hair done and to be dressed like you're going to mass, or your Sunday best for work. Now, granted, I mean, you should value your appearance to a degree where you're going to look like you're professional, yes. But, wearing eye makeup and speaking a certain way has nothing to do with how fast you can type up a document or how well you can design a building. Of course, back then, they were not looking at women to be anything more than just I think a lot of times, and I don't know if women were, how common it was. I know that there was a whole thing of a lot of women joined the workforce to find husbands. They weren't secretaries for many years. They were secretaries until they could land themselves somebody. Because once they started having babies, they were going to be at home. So I don't know how many women were in the workforce just because they wanted to further the women's movement. I am not a feminist. I'm a humanist. Men and women have good points, bad points. I've seen women that can do things big burly men can't do. And I've seen men do things that you wouldn't expect them to do, because you're like, hey, that's, you think about like the hairstylist that isn't gay. You're like, what? You're not gay? The good interior decorator who's not gay. It's like, what? But you're in a woman's world. There is reverse sexism. Because we always kind of assume that a guy that does hair is fruity. And I don't really say like fruity like as like I'm against that kind of lifestyle, or that, I don't even know if I really want to call it a lifestyle. It's just life. But we all make these things about it, like, oh, men don't do that. But there was a time when men played the women's roles in plays. Women were not allowed to act. So the men had to be women, and they were not always men that were naturally prone to being in a feminine sort of role in their life. It was, hey, he's an actor, so sometimes he plays a woman, because women are just not. And when you did see women actors back in those times, those women were typically considered of the easy variety. They were mistresses, they were a good time, and not really seen as upstanding. They were basically marginally better than a prostitute. They like to say they were courtesans. But when it came down to it, men of quality were not marrying actresses. So to see how far we've come from what this book tells you need to be. to work in an office. To go from, I watched Hidden Figures yesterday, and to see what those black women went through, which was bad enough. It was bad enough that they were women in the workforce. They were automatically going to be patted on the head and go, leave the thinking to the men. There's no way advanced scientific stuff. There's no way your brain can't handle that. That's men have for the longest time seen a woman's mind as inferior. And that's just not how it is. And I mean, we still got this whole, when you look at, people wanted Trump in office over a woman. And I often say this about when John McCain ran against Obama? He picked Sarah Palin. Had he picked a man, he probably would have stood a better chance. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that people vote that way. But when you look at women who support Trump, the women I've met, I cannot speak for all women that support him. The women I have met who support Trump are of the kind that will say, well, my husband knows best. It's like, what? Oh, I have to ask my husband if I can do that. What? How old are you? You grown-ass woman. I can understand saying, hey, I can't spend $2,000 on that. I have to ask my husband if it's, because damn straight you expect if the man's going to throw $2,000 on something, he's got to discuss it with his wife, unless they're that fucking rich. But most of the women I've met who support him are very much stuck in the 60s mentality of women aren't qualified. They can't hold their own mentally against men. They're weak. And so when Pence announced that Kamala Harris was going to be his running mate, I was like, oh shit. That could kill it. Because even though we're so far progressed in some ways, we're so far behind in others. And I was sitting there going, I just don't know. Because I mean, it could be, you could pick the most outstanding woman on the planet. It could have been Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and people would demonize her and say that she's not fit for the job. I mean, that's what they do. They give women a lot more shit about those positions of power than men. And I think, had Biden picked a man, it's possible that Trump wouldn't have gotten as many votes. It's possible. I cannot say how I always call them followers instead of his supporters. I can't say how his followers would have felt. The ones that are not like totally Trump crazy. So I don't know how they would have voted, but I think to a lot of them it was like, a female vice president? Oh no, what's next? A female president? Oh shit. Now they're not going to admit that they don't think a woman could do the job. Just like these same people won't admit that they didn't like Obama because he is of African American descent. A lot of them will not own that. The people who do, you're living your true life. You're being honest. You're showing people who you are. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I think it's stupid to hate somebody because of what they look like, or to hate somebody based on race. But that's me. Well, that's it for me, because somebody is at the door. So I'm going to go. As always, every moment is an opportunity to turn things around. Have a great day. Bye.